Yeah, exciting opportunity to be playing a championship game here at home. Do not take it lightly that we get to host this event on our campus in our home stadium. Great operation by the Sun Belt Conference and how they're doing everything. It's been first class. I think I've seen a lot of Sun Belt people since about Tuesday or Wednesday buzzing around to put this thing together and do a great job, and just excited about playing a game tomorrow. One more game. Anytime you get a chance to play the first Saturday in December, that means you've done some things well. That's a great credit to these guys next to me and to their teammates. And really honored to have these two guys with me. Same two guys that I took to media days. They are a focal point and a huge part of why we're here. Not only because of their play on the field, but because of their leadership and how they've helped establish the culture that we brought when we got here as a staff a year ago. So honored to have these two young men with me. Love them dearly, proud of their accomplishments, and y'all need to hear from them probably a lot more than me, so I'll close it up there.
Go ahead and open up for questions.
Carlton, you know you've been here for quite a few years. Being able to host it, the Sun Belt Championship, your final year, just kind of talk about what it means for you to be able to do that.
You know, it means a lot. You know, the senior group, we said before the season, you know, we kind of let the team down. We let Troy down these past few years. We kind of let the standard drop. We're just happy to be back where Troy belongs, you know, in this championship.
Coach, you talk every week, kind of you want Monday to be the best Monday, Tuesday to be the best Tuesday. So how have you felt about the way practices are going this week?
We've had an outstanding week. I think our team really all year has done a fantastic job of being in the moment, being where our feet are, worrying about what's right in front of us. I tell them all the time, I've got no control over yesterday. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not really worried about tomorrow's game yet. I'm worried about us leaving this media deal, going to have the best Friday run through we've had all year. And then tomorrow at kickoff, I want to see these guys go play a great game. But their preparation's been fantastic because of their leadership.
Austin, the running game's really come alive in the last few weeks. So what's been the biggest difference for you guys as offensive line?
You know, I think a lot of it comes down to the mentality we take into each game. The starting five that we have right now, we really challenged ourselves going into the offseason and going into fall camp that, hey, we need to put this team on our back, this offense on our back. And, you know, so far I think we've continued to grow in that area, and we've grown closer together. And a lot about offensive play is how close you are with the guys and how well you execute together. So as we've grown closer and as we've grown more confident in the schemes that we're doing, it's just boosted our entire offense a whole lot.
Austin, can you talk about when the team was 1-2 and you lose that tough game at App State and kind of what the discussions were, what the mentality was of the team to get here now?
Yeah, well, it goes back to one of our sayings that we have all the time, and Coach can testament to this is so what, now what? And you know that can go in the hard times and the good times. You have to put the past in the past. You have to focus on what's in front of you right now. And if you dwell on your success, it'll blind you to the future. If you dwell on your failures, you won't accomplish everything you want to accomplish. So really, if anything, I think that week brought us closer together as a team. It showed us that we can get through adversity together, and I think it's been a focal point of our season to move past that.
Carlton, can you talk about what it means to you to be one of the best all-time tacklers ever, to get that record? And is that something you had in your sights or thought would ever happen when you came here to Troy?
No, sir, not at all. You know, because Sumrall, he can attest to that. He told me, hey, you got to fix this. Yeah, I had to.
I didn't say that. I mean, I said you got to fix this.
Yeah, you got to fix this.
I didn't say three things. That's not true.
Yeah, not three things, but you have to have that reality check. You know, look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself what you need to work on, and just trying to be a player like within the system, you know, and after you do your job, you know, chase the ball.
Hey, this one's for both Carlton and Austin. You guys have played a lot of football games here, but tomorrow is going to be the last time you guys put on a Troy jersey inside Veterans Memorial Stadium. Just reflect on, what you think you guys will be thinking about as you head into kickoff tomorrow.
It's been a long time, but it's been a short time, and I've been thinking about it a lot here lately. You come in as a freshman, and both of us were redshirt guys, and you just never think that redshirt year is going to end because you're just grueling. You're going through practices on the scout team. You're going through the redshirt workouts, and it really has flown by. And we're blessed to be in a community and in a town that supports this football program through the hard times and through the good times. And, I have no doubt that we're going to have a packed house tomorrow, and I wouldn't want to go out in any other fashion than this. And I'm so grateful that we get to finish it off here. I really am.
Kind of what Austin said, but yeah, when the game starts, I'm going to look at it. I'm thinking back when after the game's over, that's when I'll take that, step back and just think about our careers like seniors. It's the time I shared it with these guys, but hey, when that kickoff happens, hey, it's on.
All right, we got one here from Zoom from Danny Kelly for Coach Sumrall. How have you prepared this week, not knowing whether Grayson McCall will play or not?
Yeah, one of the things I believe Jamey and their staff has done really well is they've got an identity offensively that's not maybe attached to a person. While Grayson is a fantastic player, very talented, competitive, and gritty, their structure of their offense, it stays the same basically in regards to what they do. It's just maybe a different person doing it, but hasn't really changed our preparation or how we go about the week. If he plays, we got to be ready for that. If he doesn't, we got to be ready for that as well. So more about our guys' preparation than worrying about the other side.
One in the back.
Coach, congratulations on making it here. Dave Hackert from WMBF in the Myrtle Beach. You kind of just mentioned it, just preparing for a team. You mentioned earlier in the press conference earlier this week, getting ready for a team like Coastal. Both of you two, I think, representing the East and the West, two good teams making it here. Just what that's like, maybe seeing two of the best teams in the Sun Belt making it to this point. Yeah,
I got a lot of respect for them. I mean, they're 31-5 over the last 3 years overall and 20-4 in conference games. I talk to our team a lot. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And they've been one of the best over the long haul the last 3 years. And so they present a lot of challenges. They're a quality team. They're well coached. They got great players. And hats off to them. A lot of respect for them. It should be an exciting football game with two really good football teams. I like my football team too. And I think we've made a lot of growth this year, so it should be a really good matchup.
Thank you.
Yes.
Coach, kind of like the last game for Carlton to really spotlight his talent outside of the bowl game, but he's been underlooked. I know a lot of fans on Twitter wanting him to get that Senior Bowl invite, as well as being up for that Burlsworth Trophy. Just kind of make a pitch to those people of what kind of person Carlton is and just the way he works and why he's deserving of both of those.
Yeah, he's the leading tackler in FBS Division I football history. He's maybe one of the most humble players I've ever been around, and he's the most natural, instinctive linebacker I've ever coached, and I've coached a couple of first-round draft picks at that position. Not very complicated.
Coach, can you speak to the strength of this matchup? If you're looking at conference championship games across the country, these are two best teams in terms of records in the same game, and just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, you've got two teams that I think both only have 2 losses, and I think that presents two really strong teams that have been good throughout the year. And I don't know that there's a better matched up game going on tomorrow. I really don't think there is. I haven't looked that closely at all the other matchups. Have been pretty focused on ours, but I think we're a good team, and I think they're a really high-level quality team as well. And I think that speaks to the depth of our league, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I mean this when I say it. I believe we are the premier Group of 5 conference in college football. And top to bottom, week in, week out, this league, it's a juggernaut, man. And so to get to this point, it's a great testament to both teams.
A couple things. One, I know we're going to get asked about Grayson McCall. So Grayson will be a game time decision tomorrow. Need to go through warm-ups and see how he responds to the treatment that he's been receiving the last few days. He has practiced some for us. and every day that he's practiced, he's gotten better, but the next day has been challenging with the foot injury. And so he'll go through warm-ups, and then we'll make a decision how he looks in warm-ups. Secondly, there's a lot of rumors going around about me and a next move. And so I want to let everybody know that I have not signed any contract or anything to go to another place. There's a lot of things flying around on the internet. We talked to our team about that today. And so our sole focus is on this championship game and helping bring a second title in 3 years to Coastal Carolina. This team has proved a lot. There's been a lot of ups and downs to get to this point. With what we lost after last year from a production standpoint on both sides of the ball, 17 starters. If you count all of our specialists, that was 20 out of 25 that we lost. We were probably not expected to get here. Then we lost our 3 top running backs, basically game 1. A lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. We're now 4 starters on the defensive side of the ball throughout the season. But this team overcame and have earned the right to be here and play in this championship game. This has probably been the most rewarding season that our coaching staff has had, because there was a lot of expectations within our program, but not outside of it, and we had a lot to overcome. And this team found a way to do that 9 times throughout the year and put themselves in this position. So we're excited about representing the East in the new Sun Belt, if that's what you call it. We're excited to be the East representative, and we're looking forward to playing an unbelievably talented and well-coached Troy team. We know they're tough to beat. It's tough to win here. They've had a tremendous season, so congratulations to them on the way they've played. They're on a tremendous run, and they've represented the Sun Belt well. But we're looking forward to playing well and hoisting that trophy tomorrow about 7 o'clock. So that's our plan, and I'll open up questions from there.
Thanks, Coach Chadwell. We'll open up now for questions.
Coach Dave Ackert from back in Myrtle Beach. Glad you got here safe. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Asked their coach, playing you guys. I think it's 2 of the more talented teams in the Sun Belt, making it on this stage. What it's been like preparing for them, and like you said, representing the Sun Belt.
Well, our players know they're really good. As you obviously watch the video and you see the statistics, you see the games they've won and how they've won them. They're a dominant physical team. They've got a lot of upperclassmen, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, and they're really, really good. And Coach has got them to buy into his culture and their belief, and they're playing at a high level. And they've been consistent. They've not had one game where there's been a down. That's the thing I think that we're most impressed with. And if you look on offense, the last few weeks, they've just been really pounding the rock. Kamani has done a fantastic job of running the ball. I think 2 of the last 3 games over 200 yards, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they're a physical group. Our team knows it's going to be a physical battle. And we've had the last 3 years, we've had some great games versus Troy. And we've been fortunate enough to come out on top. But we know that we're going to have to play well to win, and especially win here in front of their home crowd. We know it's going to be a great setting tomorrow. But, we told our guys that there's only a select few to get to play on this Saturday. We're one of those, and so they've earned that opportunity, and I expect them, and I know they're excited about going out and representing Coastal Carolina.
For you guys, players, now that you're here, what it's been like, I don't know how much of a run through you've gotten to do, but just being here, what it's like and getting ready for the game tomorrow.
It's kind of surreal because we made it to the championship game in 2020, but we never got to play. Because of, COVID. My position coach is the one, ended up catching COVID, and the whole defensive line group had a quarantine. So it kind of felt like it was our fault, that our team didn't get to play because, we're the reason why we had to, settle as co-champions. So, it's nice to have a ring, but it doesn't feel as, like worthy. And for me personally, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, I feel like it doesn't feel like as deserving because we didn't get to actually play the game. So, I've been looking forward to this game all season, ups and downs, whether we won or lost. I just kind of knew, we would end up at this point in the season. And, I'm just ready to, hold a trophy after the game.
Same thing here. It's a really surreal moment. A lot of us have been dreaming about playing for a championship game our entire lives. And just to be in this moment right now, I'm just appreciative of the opportunity to go out there and play this Saturday with my boys and, have a good time.
Got a couple questions here from Zoom for Coach Chadwell. The first one here is, looking back at the rise of the Coastal Carolina football program in the past few years, both in terms of wins and national media attention, how does it feel knowing you've had such a big contribution to the success and growth of not just a program but a university?
Well, first of all, that was not me. That's players. And the players are the ones that have been out there going to battle and doing the things necessary to be successful. And so the success that they've been able to do and produce, it's brought notoriety to our university that you can't pay for. If you look over the last 3 years, obviously the first bowl game win, obviously the Sun Belt Championship, college game day, being in the top 25, being in the top 10. I think we're number 9. Well, all the different things that this group, this program has been able to accomplish has been pretty special. And I don't think you realize it. I know players probably don't. As coaches, you don't really take a lot of time, but when you get some downtime, you do look back and just see how far that it's come, but also how far a university has, and knowing that you've had some part of that, it's a special thing, and I think our players will appreciate that more when they're removed from it, but we don't take that for granted.
Next one here from Zoom from Josh Morgan, again for Coach. Since your time as head coach, Coastal has seen tremendous success and growth in the program. How important is culture to building a winning program on the field and in the locker room?
I think it's number one. You have to get, obviously, players that can have the talent to play, but they have to buy into your culture and buy into your program and your standards. I think these players here beside me have been here a long time. Antwine, I think, he's going on 10 years you've been in the program, Antwine?
Yes, sir.
So he came. We were talking about it on the way down. He graduated high school in 2017. Like, he's 2 years away from drawing Social Security, and so when we took over, we had some good players in place, but we didn't have complete buy-in. And once they bought into what we were trying to do, and then the standards that we have, everybody bought in. You've seen us have a consistently championship level program, and I think culture is a big piece of that. And then what they've been able to do, these players have been able to do, is attract other quality players, because they want to be a part of that culture, part of that program. And I think that's why you've seen some sustained success.
Another one here from Zoom for Coach. What are some of the lessons learned from the previous loss to JMU?
I don't know if we have enough time to talk about all the lessons, but I think one major one. When you compete in a game, we talked about this, is they competed like they had no tomorrow, and we competed like we had a tomorrow, and there's a difference. And we went out there thinking, let's go out and play, and then things weren't going our way. And all right, we got another one, so we'll just move on. And that's a lesson that no matter the situation, no matter circumstances, you got to fight, and you got to play like you have no tomorrow. And if we learn that lesson, then we'll be all right from it.
Nick Brooks from WTVY down in Dothan. You mentioned the games between Troy earlier. The past 3 seasons, quite different team this year, very defensive heavy, weighing on their defense. Just kind of talk about how different this game may be compared to the previous 3, which were shootouts.
Well, you're 100% right. They're great on defense, and they're good on offense. The last 3 were more high-scoring affairs, but you don't anticipate that with as good as their defense is, and we think our defense is good as well. It's going to be challenged. It's going to be more of a grind it out, and your possessions are going to mean so much more, because you might not get as many with the way both teams' offenses try to play and the way their defenses are. We know that we're going to have to earn everything we get. That's what they're great at, I think, defensively, is they make you earn it. They're not giving you anything free, anything easy, and they're physical. And then on the other side of the ball, they're going to line up and come at you. They're going to say, hey, we're going to see if you want to be in this fight for 4 quarters. And maybe that's not was their mentality prior to this year. And so, but they've always had the talent. That's this talent here. I mean, they got a lot of people that are older on in their program, and so they've been here the whole time we played them. A lot of the players have, and so we know that it's going to be. We have to play really well to win. We know that, but also our guys know that we've done it before, and that gives us confidence.
This is for the players, Jerrod and Antwine. You guys are two players that committed to this program before it had gained that national recognition that it obviously has now. How much does playing in this game in light of kind of that journey and the growth of this program mean to the two of you?
For me, it means a lot. Coming from the 2017 to the 2019 season, we weren't very productive in the sense of winning, and then for us to have that transition in 2020, where we started winning a lot more games, and like you said, we weren't able to play in a championship game that year. So to now be in this moment, it's a dream come true, and it was, it meant a lot to us. We've worked the last 3 years for this. We've put in the overtime, making sure we're doing the right things, and then, keeping our mind focused for the season. So I feel like, over the last, few months, and especially over the last few years, we really had to lock in and, kind of dial back, get back to the basics, work really hard, and, just do what we have to do to get to this, present ourselves with this opportunity.
I think for players-wise, I think it just boils down to who really loves football and who's really willing to sacrifice everything to get to this point in the season. Like, you got guys who are going to be angry about their reps, but if you go your hardest for those 4 or 5 reps that you give, that might be a game changer, because you give somebody who might start, a blow, a chance to, really come back. And I feel like that's kind of like the biggest change from us, from when I first came here. It was a lot of selfishness, and we talked about it on the way up here. It was just all the guys, all the knuckleheads, we had to deal with, and I'm from a city school. I came from a city school, so I was used to having knuckleheads. So it felt really normal, and then I was one of those those guys that had to buy into the culture too, just sacrificing my my own wants and needs for what's better for the team. And I think we have guys who really care about each other. This is a true brotherhood. People always say they playing for their brother or whatever, but I feel like we're genuinely playing for the person next to us, every down, every play, besides, the JMU game. But,
Or Old Dominion.
Yeah, those two.
But besides those two, it's been great.
I feel like we got guys who are really, willing to, sacrifice, themselves every down for the person next to them. They're just playing outside of yourself because, at the end of the day, it's bigger than you.
For both of the student athletes, I guess it's natural. You get questions about, is this player going to play or not play? But can you maybe speak to how the culture of your program helps you be successful regardless of who's available for the game?
For us, it's just a lot of buy-in and trust, just kind of trusting the guy next to you to do their job, and, their willingness to perform. We have full trust in these guys. We work with these guys, over the last few years. We also we have, like I said, the brotherhood aspect of, we have faith in our guys, If someone is hurt or someone's injured, we have faith in the guy to step up and, they're able to perform.
Defensively, we have this thing before, our defensive unit meeting before games that, everybody do their 111. There's 11 guys on the field, and everybody has their own individual job. If you execute your job, individually, then it'll all turn out, the way you want it to. And I think, that's kind of what helps us out, because, you got guys who are willing to just give 100% for their acute, this is their job, everything all fall into place. I'll sit here and take on double teams, but I'm not mad at it because, JT Killen's coming in through the gap and making a tackle. That's just, that's our ideology of, doing your 111, just doing your job, not focus on making every play, just make your plays. And, as far as offense and defense, we can't control who's out on offense. All we control is who's out on defense and who's stepping up and who's going to make the next big play, or who's going to just make the next play in general. We can control whether the offense scores or, move the ball. We got to just get a stop, play hard down.
Coach, arguably one of the strongest matchups among conference championship games across the nation with two-loss teams. Can you speak to the strength of this matchup?
I'll speak to the strength of the matchup and the conference in general. I think the conference has put itself obviously in a position to be recognized as a top G5 conference in this country. And I think if you see what the teams have done this year with the teams that qualified for bowl games, if you look at the West with Troy and South Alabama, 2 10-win teams. You saw on the East Division with us, Marshall had a great year, Jamey had a great year, and it's a challenging deal, and I think to represent the East and the West, if you got through the gauntlet on both sides of that to represent, that tells you you're a good team, and you have a chance to be a special team to host a championship. And I think this is a great matchup for this newly created Sun Belt. We got to come up with a better name, Keith, like the something like that, the newly created, but. We're proud to represent it. We really are, and Commissioner has done a fantastic job of getting these teams in, and I think that you'll see the league continue to get better and better and get more recognition.
Another one here from Josh Morgan on Zoom. Coach, so far as head coach, what has been the most satisfying aspect of coaching for a program like Coastal Carolina?
I think the players, just that, being here a long time, and they mentioned what you had to go through, the challenges you had to go through to get to not only this point, but 20 and 21 and all the highs. There were a lot of lows. And I think to see that this group was made fun of on campus, they didn't want to wear football around because there was just I don't say it was embarrassing, but that's the way people felt. And to see what they've been able to do, what they've been able to do for each other, what it's been able to provide for them, what it's been able to provide for the university. I would say that, just to see the confidence that it's put in them, but also the confidence it's put in your university and the pride. We had the number of sellouts that we had this year and the number of people that come to our game, and that wasn't happening, and so that, I would say that over the players being able to enjoy that atmosphere.
Really appreciate everyone being here today. I'm certainly excited. This has been a great season for the Sun Belt. So obviously you've heard the previous coaches talk about integration of our new schools. So 14-team conference, regional rivalries have been really important. And we've really seen how that's really helped for our culture and actually created some really good football for us. Certainly highlighted in week 2. A lot of great upsets for Sun Belt teams. App over Texas A&M and Georgia Southern over Nebraska, and then Marshall over Notre Dame. So obviously three great wins on the same weekend and really carried that momentum through the season. So if you look at where we are at the end of the season, we've got 2 10-win teams. This championship game here features a 10-win team and a 9-win team, both with only 2 losses. So really pitting the 2 kind of best records against each other in any championship game. So that is that's outstanding. So really excited about that. 7 bowl eligible teams. If you think about it, we've got 9 teams that have 6 or more wins to just show the depth of our league. So obviously we've got great wins at the top, 2 10-win teams, a 9-win team, an 8-win team, but we also have depth throughout. So 9 teams that have 6 wins or more, 7 bowl eligible teams, which is more than any of the non-A5 conference and trails only the A5 conferences and better than the Pac-12. So we're really excited about that as well. Congratulations to both Coastal and Troy for being here. Obviously, the opportunity to play on the first Saturday in December is special because that's conference championship weekend, week 14 of the season. And so 2 great teams, great season. If you think about this championship, it represents the coach of the year, the player of the year, the defensive player of the year, the freshman of the year, and then 16 all-conference players from the top three teams. So really quality football players, quality football teams. Should be a really great game, and really excited for the championship. So I will make 2 comments just because we get these a lot. I still think divisions are great for the Sun Belt Conference. I think this year really shows how that is, and certainly there's a lot of debate on that going in the national kind of space, and a lot of conferences are making this change. But regional rivalries have been really important to us, and I think that's something that we'll continue to kind of focus on. And we certainly understand, how some of those changes can impact CFP, on occasion. But I think for us, the best course is kind of to stay the course from the division space. And then obviously CFP expansion was finalized at this week, so we are really excited about that. We feel like we're really well positioned for an expanded CFP when that happens in the 24 season. If you take the kind of expanded format applied over the most recent 5 completed college football seasons, only 2 non-A5 conferences are represented. So, and the Sun Belt is one of those. And so I think that we're really well positioned for the expanded CFP and really can't wait to get that started. So I'd be remiss with that if I didn't congratulate Troy and Coastal again on 2 great seasons. And I'm really excited for a great game tomorrow. So 2 great programs, and we'll showcase Sun Belt football 2:30 Central on ESPN. So really excited. I'll open up for questions.
Nick Brooks from WTVY down in Dothan. You mentioned the depth of the conference as well as the few 10-win teams. You know, South and Troy, both 10-win teams. South almost beating, I think it was either UCLA or some Pac-12 team. But just, I don't feel like they're getting the respect that they deserve, these teams are, with the rankings or however it may be. Just kind of talk about what this conference has done and deserving they are to be recognized instead of some of these group of our Power 5 8-4 teams or 7-5 teams that you might see.
Yeah, no, I think that you bring up a good point. You know, winning matters. And if you think about, you know, we've got 3 teams with only 2 losses. And when you look at kind of that bottom kind of teams 20 through 25 of the CFP, you've got 4 teams with 4 losses and 2 teams with 3 losses. So we certainly know that and certainly believe that we have great football and certainly deserve to be ranked in the college football playoff. And that's Troy and that's South and that's Coastal. Those are all teams that are having great seasons. Won a lot of football games. Between them, they've won 29 football games, which is pretty impressive. And so I would agree wholeheartedly that we haven't gotten all the respect that we deserve this year. And we'll keep fighting to earn that respect. There's one more CFP ranking that comes out on Sunday. And certainly hope to have a Sun Belt team or teams in there as things continue to shift. So we'll continue to kind of keep fighting and keep scratching and clawing. And eventually we'll continue to get there. You know, we've had a nice run over the past couple years. Certainly, you know, we're disappointed that we don't have anybody ranked this year, but we still got an opportunity, and I'm optimistic that on Sunday we'll have someone in the final CFP poll.
Commissioner Gill, Noah Frary, Smith podcast. There's been a lot of work over the last year and a half to get to this point, bringing in 4 new teams to the conference. You guys have done it in a different manner than some other conferences have done it. How rewarding is it to see that strategy of regional rivalries and just the excitement around the league this year pay off? Yeah, you know, it's really exciting. You know, my hats off to our chancellors and our ADs who just really had great vision when realignment happened so that we can identify, you know, what we wanted to do and what kind of conferences we wanted to be. And then actually, you know, figuring out a plan to go out and activate it. And this has been a great year. You know, I mean, you think about week 2, to me, that's really a metaphor of our whole season in terms of just really good quality football, really exciting games. You think about, you know, just the where the championship game was going to be hosted, who was going to represent the West, all came down to the last week of the season. And that's really what you want. You know, you want to get to week 13 of the regular season and know that, you know, people are playing for opportunities and playing for an opportunity to play for a championship. So I think it's been really rewarding. Really excited about having 7 bowl teams. Most bowl teams we've ever had. Having 9 teams with at least 6 wins is out of 14 is pretty impressive as well. So you can see the quality from top to bottom, and we're really excited about where we are. But the most important thing to know that is our best days are ahead. So the days right now are great, and we feel really good about them. But we know better days are ahead, and this conference has so much to accomplish, and that's why CFP expansion is going to be so important, because we feel like we're going to be a regular participant in the CFP and certainly having our opportunity to compete for a national championship in football.
Commissioner, you've mentioned the 7 bowl eligible teams and obviously some other teams very close to that. Why is that important that as the Sun Belt evolves, that the culture of being a football student athlete in the Sun Belt is you're probably going to have a chance at least once in your career to play in a bowl game?
Yeah, I think postseason really matters. I think at FBS, that's why we do it, for the bowl, for the CFP, and that's really important. I think also it shows the strength of the league in the sense of there's only so many wins you can get in your conference. So if you have 7 bowl eligible teams, you have 9 teams that have at least 6 wins, that means you're doing some great work in the out of conference space. The math just doesn't allow you to get all those wins in the conference. And so being able to win against our peers, certainly having those A5 wins we have, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about ODU starting off the season with a win over Virginia Tech. Those really matter. Those show the strength of our league, and I think it gives us all a lot to be proud of. Our coaches and players have done a really good job in terms of elevating Sun Belt football.
How important is it as a league to have a Saturday like last week where you've got several teams who have the option of being here? You've got 2 games back-to-back on ESPNU that really determine what this championship becomes.
Yeah, I think it's really important. As we were putting the league together from a realignment standpoint, one of the things that's important of us is, can we have big games from multiple teams in the same week? You want to have 2, 3, 4 really important big games kind of every week. And I think we've been able to do that because we have so many rivalries, so many games of interest. And having all that come down to the end to determine who's going to play in the championship game, who's going to host the championship game, creating that level of interest and drama, I think is only good for Sun Belt football and college football generally. So I think it's really important. It's something that we really wanted to do, and it has worked pretty well this year, so we're really excited about it.